Beloved children of my heart, there are moments in this world when love does not announce itself with loud words, when sacrifice walks quietly, barefoot and unseen. Today, I ask you to listen not with your ears alone, but with the places in your soul that still believe kindness can exist without conditions. It was in the early spring of March 2008, in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, where two boys first learned the meaning of friendship without knowing it yet. The air still carried the last breath of winter, and the playground behind St. Matthew's Elementary School was half covered with melting snow. One boy was named Daniel Carter, thin, thoughtful, often silent. The other was Michael Reyes, louder, quicker to laugh, quicker to stand between trouble and those he loved. They were only 9 years old when Daniel fell from the rusted monkey bars and broke his arm. Children gathered around, unsure, afraid. Teachers were still inside. Michael did not hesitate. He ran, shouting for help, holding Daniel's trembling body, whispering words he did not know how to form properly yet. That was the first time love showed itself through action between them. Years passed as quietly as drifting leaves. By 2014, they were teenagers at Westlake High School, Ohio. Daniel had grown taller, but carried a fragile health he never spoke of. His kidneys, though no one knew yet, were slowly failing him, like a clock counting down without sound. Michael joined the school football team. Daniel stayed behind, writing essays and helping teachers after class. Still, every Friday night, Michael would sit beside Daniel at the old diner on Detroit Avenue, sharing fries, sharing dreams. Homes, Michael would say. One day, I'll build houses, big ones, safe ones. Daniel would smile. I just want enough time to see something good come from my life. He did not know then how prophetic his words were. In September 2019, Daniel was 20 years old, sitting in Cleveland Clinic Hospital, white walls closing in around him as a doctor explained numbers and stages and words that sounded like foreign languages. Stage 5, renal failure, immediate dialysis. A transplant would be needed within 2 years, maybe sooner. When Daniel called Michael that night, his voice did not break. He joked. He apologized for being dramatic. Michael listened in silence, his hands shaking so hard he had to sit down on the curb outside his apartment on Lorraine Road. Dialysis began in November 2019, 3 times a week. Daniel's world shrank to hospital chairs, needles, and hours stolen from sleep. Michael drove him every time he could, even after 12-hour construction shifts. He never complained. He never asked why this had happened. He simply stayed. In April 2020, as the world closed its doors under the weight of a global pandemic, Daniel's condition worsened. The transplant list grew longer. Donors grew fewer. Hope became fragile. One evening, on May 14th, 2020, Daniel sat alone in his small apartment, sunlight fading through half-closed blinds. He opened his laptop to draft a message to Michael, one he never intended to send. It was a goodbye written in fragments, filled with gratitude and apology at the same time. Miles away in Lakewood, Ohio, Michael sat in his kitchen, staring at a pamphlet he had picked up weeks earlier at the hospital. It read, "Living Kidney Donation. What You Should Know." He had never told Daniel he took it. Michael did not pray with words that night. He did not bargain. He simply said within his heart, "If I can carry this pain so my brother does not have to, let it be so." Medical tests began quietly in June 2020. Blood work, scans, compatibility screenings. Michael told no one. Not his parents. Not Daniel. Not even his fiancée, Emily, until the final clearance arrived. On August 3rd, 2020, Michael stood in the doorway of Daniel's hospital room at Cleveland Clinic, holding a folded piece of paper. Daniel looked up, tired, his skin pale, eyes hollowed by months of treatment. "I'm a match," Michael said simply. Daniel laughed, at first. Then he cried. Then he shook his head, again and again. "You weren't asked," he said. "I never asked you." Michael stepped closer. "That's why it matters." The surgery was scheduled for October 21st, 2020. The morning came, wrapped in silence. The hospital corridors smelled of antiseptic and fear and hope. Emily kissed Michael's forehead, tears soaking her mask. Daniel reached out from his wheelchair, gripping Michael's hand like a child, afraid of the dark. The surgery lasted 6 hours. 2 bodies entered. 2 lives were altered. But only one sacrifice had been made freely, without demand, without expectation. When Daniel awoke, his body burning, yet alive in a way he had not felt for years, he asked only one question: "Is he okay?" Michael woke hours later, pain slicing through his side, yet smiling when the nurse told him Daniel's new kidney had already begun working. Recovery was slow, painful, quiet. Michael lost his job due to extended medical leave. Bills stacked. Emily worked double shifts. Daniel learned how to live, again how to walk without exhaustion, how to wake without nausea, how to plan a future without counting days. In December 2021, Daniel stood before a small audience at St. Paul's Community Church, Cleveland. He spoke softly, holding a microphone with trembling hands. "My life," he said, "exists because someone loved me enough to give without being asked." Michael sat in the back, uncomfortable with attention, staring at the wooden floor. After the applause faded at St. Paul's Community Church in December 2021, life did not suddenly become easier for Michael. The world did not stop to honor him. There were no headlines, no medals, no guarantees. He returned to his small apartment in Lakewood, Ohio, walking slowly, one hand unconsciously guarding the scar along his side. Winter pressed against the windows, and the nights felt longer than before. By February 2022, medical bills weighed heavily. Insurance covered much, but not all. Construction work remained uncertain. Employers hesitated when they saw the medical history. Michael told no one about his fears. He smiled when Emily asked how he felt. He said, "Healing takes time." What he did not say was that doubt sometimes crept into his prayers like a quiet shadow. Daniel, on the other hand, began to bloom in ways he had never known. The color returned to his face. His steps grew lighter. In March 2022, he walked through Edgewater Park, Lake Erie stretching wide and calm before him, breathing deeply as if the air itself were a gift. Each morning, he touched his chest, whispering gratitude, not loudly, not publicly, but with reverence. Yet, gratitude alone does not repay a sacrifice. Daniel struggled with this truth. How does one return a life? In May 2022, Daniel accepted a position as a junior analyst at a nonprofit organization in downtown Cleveland, focused on healthcare access for low-income families. The job paid modestly, but it placed him among people whose stories mirrored his own. Each file, each name, reminded him of Michael. That summer, Michael and Emily postponed their wedding. Money was tight, plans shrank, invitations remained unsent. Emily never blamed him. Still, some nights, she cried quietly in the bathroom, unsure whether love alone could carry them through. On August 17th, 2022, a storm rolled through Cuyahoga County, sudden and violent. Rain flooded streets. Power went out across neighborhoods. Michael, driving home from a short-term job site, skidded into a shallow ditch. He was not injured, but as he sat in the dark car, rain hammering the roof, something inside him finally broke. He rested his head on the steering wheel and wept not from pain, but from exhaustion. It was, in that moment, my beloved children. That unseen hands were already moving. Daniel had been awake late that night, reviewing grant proposals at his apartment on Euclid Avenue. A phrase caught his eye: Community Advocate Fellowship, personal testimony required. Without hesitation, he began to write. He wrote of illness, of waiting rooms, of needles and fear. He wrote of a friend who gave without being asked. He wrote not to impress, but to testify. The application was submitted at 214A.M. in October 2022. Daniel received the call. The fellowship was awarded. Funding followed enough, to launch a small program providing donor support resources in Ohio. Daniel named it quietly, without announcement, the Open Hand Project. He did not tell Michael at first. By January 2023, the program partnered with Cleveland Clinic and 2 regional hospitals. Living donors received counseling, legal guidance, and partial income assistance during recovery. The work grew slowly, rooted in compassion rather than ambition. One cold afternoon on February 11th, 2023, Daniel asked Michael to meet him at the same diner on Detroit Avenue, where they once shared fries and dreams. Snow fell softly outside. Michael arrived late. Apologizing, Daniel slid a folder across the table. "What's this?" Michael asked. Daniel looked up, eyes steady. "This is me carrying something for you, so you don't have to." Inside were documents, employment offer, program coordinator position, health coverage, flexible hours, a role shaped not by charity, but by trust. Michael stared at the papers, then at Daniel. "You planned this?" Daniel nodded. "Since the day you woke up from surgery." Michael's voice cracked. "You didn't owe me this." Daniel leaned forward. "I don't pay debts. I continue love." In June 2023, Michael stood again under an open sky. This time at Rocky River Reservation, where friends gathered for a small wedding ceremony. Emily walked toward him, sunlight filtering through trees. Daniel stood beside them, hand over heart. No speeches were long. No words were excessive. Love did not need decoration. Years moved forward, not dramatically, but faithfully. By 2024, the Open Hand Project expanded beyond Ohio. Stories reached Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. Donors found support. Families found hope. Michael worked quietly, guiding others through fear he knew intimately. Daniel's health remained stable. He ran short distances. He laughed more freely. Yet, every year, on October 21st, the anniversary of the surgery, he and Michael met alone. No gifts, no photos, just silence, gratitude, and a shared understanding that some miracles are not loud. Beloved children, I tell you this, not so you may praise one man, okay? Might so you may recognize yourselves in him. The world will teach you to wait until asked, to protect yourselves first, to measure worth by return. But love, true love, does not wait for permission. It listens. It steps forward. It gives before being called. And when you give in such a way, even if the road is long and the night is heavy, know this, nothing offered in love is ever lost. Peace be with you, my children. Let your hands remain open. Let your hearts remain soft. Amen.